how's it going? So, how do you know it's Airshow Day? Got my Airshow shirt on. Off to Richmond today for the Richmond RAAF Base Airshow. Celebrating 100 years of Richmond Air Base. Should be a great day. Been looking forward to it for quite a while. As you can see, got my bag packed. Got the R6 Mark II plus the 150 to 600mm lens, plus the 24 to 240 and the 50mm lens for any static or ground display stuff. So getting ready to take off. Should be a great day. Hopefully get a number of good pictures for everyone to see and try out some video as well. This is only my second time trying video. Last one was at Mudgee where it was quite shaky and basically hard to watch, so hopefully get a little bit better this time around and get a little bit smoother stuff of some of the planes that's going to be in the air today. Well, made it through the car park, off to the show.
Thank you.
Impressive aerobatic aerial displays. This airshow is also an opportunity for us to commemorate 100 years of RAAF Base Richmond and 100 years of being part of the local community. RAAF Base Richmond is the oldest Air Force base in Australia and the oldest in New South Wales. When it was established in 1925, our Air Force was in its infancy. The Air Force was only a few years old. This RAAF base started with one iron hangar and one at the West Aerodrome.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to be upstanding for the national anthem. Those members in uniform are to salute.
Oh yeah.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let
Show is now open.
And they absolutely love flying this aircraft.
It's a big aircraft. It handles really well for such a big aircraft. It's got a lot of power, as you can see there. Trains is really maneuvering that aircraft in a very tight area there. So even though it's such a big, bulky platform, it's really responsive and really powerful.
It's incredible to think as well that Australia was the first foreign customer for the Hercules, and the operation started here back in 1959.
That requires some really critical thinking to do well.
And you could have
The aircraft, we're going to see a helibox drop.
2:10 this afternoon as well. And there's plenty of stuff happening on the ground. The C-130 loading demo happens at 11:30 this morning, and then at 12:30 that we were talking to Squadron Leader Ralph earlier before about it, the Hercules pool.
Hercules, well, flying corps in World War I, so it has an incredible history. If you look out in front of you, you can see the 3 trainers of 100 Squadron. They are lined up, ready to take off. There are 2 particular aircraft there, one in green with a white tail and one in yellow. They both have the same engine. It's just slight differences, but tell me which one is the noisiest, and there is a prize for somebody who can tell me why. Just going through the checks at the moment. Every piston-engined aircraft basically does exactly the same checks right the way back through from prior to World War II. They run the thing up to a certain RPM. We have the CT4 rolling now, piloted by Matt Denny.
A number of the roulettes used to teach on these aircraft.
Not the fastest thing in the world, but certainly a good trainer. Now the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation Wirraway. And the North American Harvard. Listen to the difference in the noise between those two.
Can remove that and we can turn it into cargo configuration. We just spent about a week up in Charleville earlier on in the year after those floods and everything out west, assisting Father Minder and so forth with resupply of food and temporary accommodation.
It can lift about 25,000 pounds, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. We had it chock-a-block full. So John and Mark are doing a bit of a dip to the crowd, so let's give them a round of applause. That's a bit of an acknowledgement from an aircraft. The plane will dip the wings either side, the helicopters dip the nose.
It was the 4th largest air force at the end of World War II.
To the manufacturer of the CT4A there, Pacific Aerospace Corporation.
Yeah, that's it's interesting when you look at that aircraft. It's going to do a solo display, as is the Harvard later on. All 3 of those have been trainers for various air forces. To the crowd and keep back behind that crowd line.
You can see that crowd line there with the gable markers on the airfield.
Yes, correct. That's generally about 2 yellow and green. You'd think that would stand out, but at places like Point Cook, where there's a considerable amount of grass, during the summer, maybe Deniliquin or Uranquinty, and you'd fly a Wirraway. If you were chosen to go overseas to join the RAF, and pilots from Canada, New Zealand, it can carry bombs under the outer wing panels. 303s against Japanese aircraft. The guys up, the SNJ, which is the designation for the US Navy, the Harvard, and they flew right the way through until pretty much the 1980s military service.
And they've still got some pretty amazing manoeuvrability there.
Yep. The Kiwis and the South Africans were the last to actually operate that. The majority of the aircraft disappeared in the 1980s, even with the small air forces. The Kiwis got rid of theirs in the 70s, and the South Africans operated them right up until the 90s because of not being able to get newer aircraft because of the apartheid policy. The aircraft has a range of 3,500 nautical miles, or 6,500 kilometres in the new money, and it has an unrefuelled endurance of 10 hours, but it is fitted with air-to-air refuelling capability. We have operated by the RAAF, operated by number 2 Squadron, based at Williamtown, up near Newcastle. 2 Squadron has an incredible history. It's one of the oldest in the RAAF. Electric Canberras in the Malay emergency, and number 2 Squadron was equipped with Canberra bombers in Vietnam, where they served an incredible job. They dropped 76,389 bombs of... What a great demonstration there. Beautiful aircraft and quite a performer as well.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is wave 2 of our flying here today at RAF Base Richmond. We've got one more wave this afternoon. You'll see the
positioning for the fast pass later on.
What's the one before the F-18? The F-14?
Just approaching from our right now. Gear down. Lights on.
Well, that's the air show done. Now let's see how good traffic control is and how quickly we get out of here.